welcome to the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. Unbelievably, it is episode 16 already. I'm Dexter Henry with my co-host Brian Fonseca, and you know we always bring guests. So today we have a guest from Sports Illustrated. He's the social media writer and creator of #important.com. Kenny Ducey. Well, we got to throw back. We got to let people know your credit.
That's it. That's the brand, man.
You know, it's the brand, man.
I don't think you thought we were gonna put that in there.
I mean, I expected Dexter to do his research, you know.
Well, he actually did the research. He actually found that out.
Right, well,
I didn't know of that,
I apologize.
but he did it. No, but we got to let people know.
By the way, they never thought we would make it this far. I got to put that out there.
I got to look at my LinkedIn page now. Now I'll probably see who said it, you know, Brian.
So Kenny, welcome. We thank you for being here. We appreciate it. I've been following your work I've known you for quite some time.
We've been friends since I was, you know,
in
like
college.
a little brat. Like
yeah, I know you since you were like a freshman in college,
yeah.
right? And Kenny used to be this is for people who were trying to get into sports journalism, like Brian was too, hungry and hustling. He was at like every game. Always talking to me about getting into the industry and what he wanted to do as a writer. You know, all the Fordham kids, you guys are everywhere.
Yeah.
You guys are just everywhere. And so I saw you at all the games: Knicks, Nets, Mets, Yankees, Jets, Giants. I think, did I see you for the football?
Never went to football.
Never went to football. Okay, I just made that up.
I'm actually I'm covering my first football game on Sunday.
Nice.
So I'll check that box too.
All right,
yeah.
So the box is checked. I put the cart ahead of the horse there, or however you say that.
I don't know. I actually don't know how you say it.
The horse ahead of the cart. I put the cart ahead of the horse.
Cart?
Right, because
I thought you said like card. Like
no, because the horse is supposed to go in front of the cart. The horse is supposed to pull the cart.
Well, he thought you said card, so maybe you should enunciate.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about like a card.
Nah. But anyway, so Kenny, we don't want to tell everybody about yourself. You tell us, who is Kenny Ducey? How did you get where you are? You were the social media writer for Sports Illustrated. You do a lot of great stuff with the NBA. But how did you get to where you are? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, you know, basically going to Fordham and just working at WFUV, the radio station. That's how I met you, and got into a lot of basketball games with, you know, we're credentialed there because it's like a real like NPR station. It's a professional.
Yep.
This guy Bob Aaron's there is our boss, and just basically like the way that we were taught, it's incredibly hard to get on air. It was like he cared about the quality, so. I think not only like my parents, but he as well kind of taught me to like, you got to grind, you got to work hard, you got to earn the opportunities. And so like, I don't want to, you know, go too deep, but that's basically like how I got through Fordham is like, you kind of gradually get more and more stuff. And so, but no, how I got to SI is just a crazy like story. Cause when I graduated, I had like a few jobs that I thought I might get. Because I had, you know, I was in contact with a few people, and I was like, oh, piece of cake, like, come on, like, I worked so hard here, like, I'm gonna, you know, whatever. And I definitely am gonna get a job. And so I didn't get any of those jobs. One of the jobs was SI, which was, I thought I would just do radio, right, or like video or something. And I was I really didn't think I was gonna write or anything. And so my friend Dan Gartland, who was my sports editor, I literally wrote like one semester in college. I was a terrible columnist. I spelled like Derrick Rose wrong. Like I was awful.
Oh, man.
Which I still don't. He claims that happened. I still don't believe him because I don't think I would ever spell. Like Did
you put two R's and ICK?
I think I spelled it like DEREK, which is cringeworthy. But I honestly.
But that's normal Derek spelling.
Right.
So
I mean, that's one of the things I always say is I always get upset when people spell their own name wrong. You know, like I'm like
that's a bad.
Like Kevin Looney, right? Like it's that's not gonna be. It's Kevon. Like I'm never.
Yeah.
Or that guy on the A's, Ryan Healy. That's Ryan, as far as I'm concerned. So.
The parents are like, no,
right,
we named the wrong.
His parents being creative.
That's Derrick Rose, like Derek Jeter. But anyway, so so I don't believe that. But anyway, he sent me the job. I applied to the job. I did like this test, you know, like on a Friday morning in like my dorm room, and I didn't get the job. And I was like, well, you know, I thought I would get it. So I just kind of had 3 months after I graduated, played a lot of golf, spent all my money, and then
he was like hoping for the best after that.
Yeah, and I was in the meantime I was writing for. I mean, I had like this. I was making like nothing basically a month, a little bit, like enough to buy food at Baseball Prospectus, this Yankees site, and then I ended up starting #important.com, which was just like this I know this is long. I'm so sorry.
No,
it's a podcast.
It's your story.
It's literally.
It's a long.
It's literally what this is for.
We always believe that people are, they like to enjoy, like to hear the journey. So share
well,
your
I
journey.
hope that it helps people, like
Yeah, like
know.
Lewis, who just graduated.
Yeah.
Who I banged on the table again. Who is producing today? Usually our photographer. That is, Jeff is taking that role today.
I don't mean to cut off your story, but everybody's got a journey, and everybody.
I'm happy you cut it off. I don't like talking for that long.
But you know what? It can be awkward when you're talking about yourself.
Yeah.
Like I get that.
And we're just staring at him like, yo, tell us more.
I also don't know what to do with my eyes right now, or my like. I'm trying to,
just 50-50.
Trying to be like a professor, like trying to address everyone in the room.
I'll break it up and say, okay, so you talked about you started hashtagging.
Yeah, so that's actually the key.
Right.
So like that because so when I was in school, I was in this like globalism or something class. I don't know what the hell it was.
You don't remember anything.
We went on a UN trip. I wasn't there. That was a funny story too. But and
I kind of want to hear that one.
it wasn't that funny actually. My professor just made me.
My
professor made me go all the way into the city because she thought that I could just walk into the UN and just like, oh, I'm on a field trip, and then the UN people would just be like, all right, go right ahead. Into the United Nations. And I was like, I had a class till like 9, and we were leaving at 8:30, or that doesn't make sense. We were leaving at 9:30, had a class till 10, and she was just like, well, just join us there. And so I went all the way into the city from the Bronx, and then I went to every entrance of the UN, and they were all just like, you can't come in.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to get to the UN.
It was that class.
That class.
And
okay.
we were doing it was like the last day of presentations my senior year, one of the last days. I had already presented my project, so I was like just bored. You have to sit there and listen to everyone else's. So I was just on my laptop, just looking at stats, and then I was like, well, I'm just gonna use this time to calculate how Carmelo Anthony plays depending on what hat he wears. So I scrolled through all these tweets that the Knicks had, and I put together this comprehensive spreadsheet of stats, based on his different. He has all these different hats. And
you were the only person in the world that cared to do that.
Yeah,
right?
well, that's the thing.
But that's
so
what
it went
great
viral. My man Jesus retweeted it. A lot of people it got shared a lot. It went to all these sites. It was on Reddit. Someone actually claimed that I stole it from Reddit, even though my name was on it, which was ridiculous.
Yeah, the internet is stupid.
You look at Twitter and there's a comment and it said blatantly stolen from Reddit, and I was.
So I have to stop you real quick because I think what's great about the story is that you were bored in class, and not to tell anybody not to pay attention to class.
Stay in school.
That's stay in school. That's not what we're saying, but it's interesting how you can be inspired to do things that are outside of what you're traditionally taught, right?
Right.
And you were just inspired to do this and came about. And when you did it, did you think anything serious would come out of it?
No, I was just like, this will be a funny tweet, and then it blew up. And so I ended up, because it got some traction, I wrote an article on our station website about it, and
spelled your name right? I
did.
Okay,
yes, I had the name was on there. But so anyway, so that kind of ties into hashtag important, because then I had I was like I said, spending all my money. I had a little job writing for weekly about the Yankees for BP, and I was my dad was always come on, you gotta get a job, let's go, let's apply to stuff, and I'm like. And my approach was I want to play another round of golf. I want to just enjoy my time before I have a job.
Understood.
And the time eventually would run out, but anyway, so my dad was like, why don't you this was my dad's idea, believe it or not. He was like, that hat stat thing you did, the Wall Street Journal just did how Jordan Spieth plays when he wears white, or why don't you do a whole site out of this?
I think I remember that.
And so I was like, all right, I'll fine, whatever. I can, I have nothing to do. I'll do this site. So I did I did another sort of similar thing where it was how does I haven't been looking at you enough. I'm sorry. How does
you don't have to look at me.
This is who I know. This is who I'm trying to know right here.
I got the haircut for no reason.
Yeah. Speaking of hair, I don't know how my hair looks. The audience has already made a judgment on that, but I don't know.
Maybe they're gonna judge your performances on different podcasts based on your hairstyle. Somebody needs to do a site on that.
That would be because I did recently switch it up. So maybe I'm gonna hit a hot streak here of good content.
Well, if you're hot,
team content all the way.
That's what we care about.
Yeah.
So.
While also keeping in mind that people are gonna hate on you for anything you do. So there's also that, regardless of how your hair.
That is true.
Well, that's true, but that's also a dark place to go.
So really, A lot of the credit, I'm not taking any credit away from you, but a lot of the credit goes to Mr. Ducey.
No, it does. It does.
Shout out to
It does.
Ducey.
But I kind of want to know more about golf because I haven't golfed yet, and I wanted to do it last year.
It's like the seventh most popular sport. No, I love golf, man. I
Were you gonna drop a stat? Like
No.
What's your game like? What's your golf game?
I used to be really good. I thought I was gonna play at Fordham. That also ties in. So I used to play a bunch. I lived right by a golf course.
You told me that before.
Yeah, and I would play a lot. I was down to like a 7 handicap, and I was looking at the scores that these kids at Fordham were posting, and they were like, I was like, I could make this team. Like I could do it. I'm not gonna be a good player, but I can make the golf team. And so I went like all summer. I went to this like golf performance center. I was working out. The other thing about golf that you don't realize is these like nowadays, it's changed from 20 years ago. Like golfers work out. They work out so hard. Like Tiger was jacked.
Tiger really changed that for a lot of people.
Yeah, he got huge, and then that was like people were like, well, you work on your back, you work on your core, like you can add yards. So anyway, so I worked out. I retooled my swing, all this stuff, and I went to school, and like I was like it wasn't the first nights of school. At like 6 o'clock, the golf coach calls me, and he's just like, we have a lot of talented players. You played baseball in high school. You didn't play golf in high school. These kids all played golf in high school. So, even though I did play competitively a little bit, but he was like, you're probably not going to make the team. Like, I wouldn't try out. Like, there's a lot of kids.
Damn, he didn't want you to try out?
Yeah. So I was like,
I would be tight if I lived by a golf course and they're like, nah.
And I was on, and like I guess this is a bad message because I didn't I wasn't inspired to go forth. But I wasn't. Golf was never my best sport, and so I was like, all right, like.
Damn, he couldn't let you try out though.
He talked to me on the phone for like 25 to 30 minutes. It was
25
insane.
minutes for tell me that.
Yeah. So anyway, I had So then the next day it was like a club fair. Signed up to be. I was like, all right, well if I'm not gonna be doing a sport, I might as well be covering sports, so I signed up to do the radio station there.
I feel like that happens to all of us at some point.
See, that's good to know.
That was my first dream was to play in the bigs, and I can't do that.
It's got your inspiration something else.
I'm 5'10", like 150, so.
So we bring it back.
160 maybe.
Got the stats out there for those who know. He was working out. We bring it back. You started #important.
Yeah.
Your dad really pushed you to do that. It's funny how people can push you to different things.
Yeah, well, it was just, he planted that seed. I don't know.
So you got all this attention through that.
Yeah, I didn't have a job too. That's the thing. And I didn't have the job at SI, and I started the site, and a couple of my posts went viral. It was like JR when like Lil Wayne has music, and like all this like Mike Trout with his airplane emojis, Bryce Harper with his socks, and eventually I got an email back from the guy who my old boss, who's now working at Slate. And he was like, yeah, you're gonna we're gonna open up another spot. Like we moved some money around. Like we'd love for you to apply. And
I'd love for you to get this job, get this money.
Yeah.
And then
that means.
I'll always remember so I would cover Yankee games at the stadium once a week, and I remember like this was like a week before my interview. I was so broke. I was eating like Burger King chicken nuggets for lunch, and I was because I had gotten off at 125th a little early before the game because my dad had to drop me off and go to work, so I had time to kill. And I was just like, I looked at my bank account, and it was very sad, and I was about to cry. I was like, I have no more money. I need a job. Like, if I don't get this job, I'm just like I'm gonna do something else for a while and be like a waiter or something.
I didn't know where you were going there. I was like, hope it's not working on the street. I hope it wasn't that.
I mean, who knows? Maybe. I mean, I was caddying a lot, so I could have just done. I could have been like a full-time caddy. Yeah. So anyway, so then I eventually I spent the rest of my money on jackets, like blazers, and I was like, oh, my dad will probably give me like a little money for this since I'm like trying to become a young professional. And then he was like, nope, you're on your own.
Oh.
So
Mr. Ducey was like, I gave you the idea.
But it was a good lesson. So anyway, I eventually got the job, and not a minute too soon because I had like no money left. So it was great.
So everything comes right on time.
Right.
That's kind of the moral there.
Yeah, there's your inspiration. Graduate broke, and then get some blazers.
No. Graduate with a little money, spend all the money, and then you'll get a job. That's it.
Yeah,
all right, Lewis, we got you.
You'll be just fine if you listen to what I'm saying.
Right.
Pretty good. Before this podcast, I actually spoke to Brian about this, and I said it to you, Kenny, before we came on. I'm you do a lot of stuff for SI, you do all the social media stuff, and we see your tweets. And every week I read. I'm an NBA junkie. If you didn't know, I'm an NBA junkie. Always watching League Pass. I always look at power rankings. I'm not even a big power ranking fan, but I was a huge fan of Sports Illustrated's power rankings. It didn't dawn on me till about 3 weeks ago, till I just happened to scroll down one day. I was read it every week, and I was like, oh, Kenny Ducey writes this.
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. You do I think you do a tremendous job.
Thank you.
I think it's funny. He always incorporates a lot of social media stuff in there, stuff that I might have missed that I didn't see around the league. So it's really good. How do you like doing the social media rankings, power rankings?
Well, the rankings, so I actually used to do social media rankings, funny enough. Like, I used to rank, like, I used to power rank, like, the players. So last year, like, Embiid would be one a lot, but, like, it would just be, like, who had a good performance, off the court, basically. But then so my editor gave me these this year, asked me if I want to do them. And so it's been tough, actually, because I work social media Sunday nights, or Sundays until, like, cause for football until like 9 or 10, and then I come home and I don't finish my rankings like 3 a.m. So I was really glad that you said that, because you're not in it. You're not always in it for the name recognition, because I don't think people really know the power rankers' names. But I do find it fun to kind of like pivot. I actually said on Twitter I hadn't used the word pivot in like 5 years, so there it goes. To pivot and kind of do something different than everyone else. Like, everyone's talking about, like, like the on-off splits for Tyreek Evans, future Cavalier, and it's like, no, like, how about, the fact that, like, the Grizzlies are, or someone just got a new haircut on the Grizzlies, and there was a funny Snapchat about it.
I like that. It makes it more interesting and easy to read, because I don't want to listen to all this stuff. What about you, Brian?
I would imagine that. Yeah, I would imagine that. What's it called? Do you have, I guess, a collection of favorite NBA players to follow when you're looking, through their tweets and things like that? Especially lately, like, not even just NBA players, but in the NBA in general. It's become like a war zone. A lot of guys are fighting and things like that, which I enjoy.
Twitter beef.
I enjoy. I'm here for it.
Absolutely.
So guys are getting ejected and fined. So do you have, like, I don't know, do you have, like, favorite, I guess, social media stories or players to follow and things like that?
Well, I mean,
like Joel Embiid, who you just mentioned.
Well, I've followed Whiteside forever, and I still watch his Snapchats, and it says a lot, because, like, I've followed DJ Khaled forever, but I stopped watching his Snapchats like a year and a half ago.
I wonder why.
Whiteside's still good.
It's the same thing all the time.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who else, like, Instagram story wise.
Whiteside's a good one, though.
Yeah. Recently Kuzma is like.
Yeah.
He's like the next. He's the next guy.
We're gonna get to later.
You think he's the next guy everybody's gonna, like, be entertained by
on social media? Yeah, I mean, he's doing it right now. If you look if you watch his stories every day, he's always, like, now they're making fun of how skinny Brandon Ingram is. Like, they've been doing this. They've been doing this for a week.
He was gonna be in what movie was it?
Slender Man.
That's messed up.
So he usually picks on Lonzo. Lonzo usually picks on him, but now they're both, like, teaming up to pick on Brandon Ingram. So I'm excited to see what he does.
That also sucks.
As
like,
a rebuttal.
You have two rookies picking on you, Brandon Ingram. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Yo, Brandon, he's got to step up and get him back.
He's also isn't he also like 20 or something? Like, he's so
they're
young.
all around the same age. But
he has been there for a year. He's probably past. Yeah. So I like following them, though, those two, especially Kuzma. I think Kuzma's the next social media darling.
Before we go to break, is there anybody you yeah, we take breaks occasionally. We got to sort of pay the bills and let people know what's going on. Before anybody that you look at that you're like, yo, they're not doing it right. They're not doing social media right. Ooh. They're not bringing it. Their social media game's real weak.
We want to get spicy.
Or do you just, like, not follow them because they're just so weak? You're like, yo, I'm gonna follow them.
No, there is, and I don't follow them for that reason. I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna name any names?
I don't want to get into it. I don't want them to have the gratification that they got under my skin. I don't want them to know.
I mean,
there are though. I mean, I will say, like,
tell us off air.
I will, but there's just people. There are just people. I'll give you the scoop. Just don't leak it to the press. Okay. And I'm the press.
Nobody listens to this anymore.
Yeah. No, people listen. Come on, man.
I'm lying. People listen now.
No, but I definitely always like originality, and I think there are some people that lean on the same jokes every time, or like, I don't know. I'm a big quality and originality guy. That's what I like,
You like creativity.
Not
exactly. Not stealing off of other people.
Don't steal.
And using the same material.
High quality videos, not don't change your name on Twitter a lot, stuff like that. So.
No,
I'm putting two and two together.
Yeah, we're trying to think about that.
Wait, I just figured it out. All right.
And we know we'll
go to break.
And we also respect other media outlets that do that.
Let's try to do it SI.
You know, SI actually had asked for permission of Brian.
Man, Dave Scipione. Yeah, I was working last night.
To use one of his videos the other day when he had some videos of Pop talking before the Nets. And, you know, Brian had shown me, and I said, yo, I respect that. I like when other outlets say, hey, we're going to use this. Can we use this?
Yeah.
Instead of just taking.
It's a legal issue, too. Like,
it is, but some people just do stuff illegally. They don't give a damn. They're like, oh, we're going to take this.
A lot of people, they'll just share it.
Well, that's like what Barstool does, and we're real jealous because they just do it, and for some reason they're allowed to just, you know.
Well, we can get into that.
We can get into that. We're not. Yeah.
I got friends there too. I'm not trying to.
I'm not trying to.
But their set of, you know, whatever. Like they might have a lot of. They might not get in trouble or called out on it a lot by other. But like we're just. Some companies are like afraid that you're gonna get you know sued or something like that if you know, and so you have to. There's certain legal parameters that you have to follow.
I think it's
a real like uninteresting technical discussion about social media.
And I'll just keep this brief. I think it's also because like with Barstool, they're just seeing a satire, where Sports Illustrated has a level of like respectability that they're trying to maintain in media. And Barstool, they're just here for the jokes, and they're outright about that.
I do think it's two different lanes. All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Kenny about the balls, LeVar Ball, Lonzo Ball, how they've been impacting the social media world. Does Kenny Ducey even care? How we feel about it. We're also going to talk a little about NBA social media campaigns with All-Star voting. We'll talk a little about that when we come back on the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. What's up, listeners? You know sometimes how it can be hard just to get from point A to point B. Now, when I have to get anywhere and I don't want to deal with the hassle of public transportation, it ain't hard to tell how I get around. I always make sure to use the best car service app in the game. I'm talking about Lyft. Lyft offers rides in minutes. All you have to do is download the Lyft app, request a ride, and you will be on your way quickly. Lyft is all about happy riders and happy drivers. Take a ride with them and you'll see why 9 out of 10 rides end up with a 5-star rating. Lyft always has amazing offers for new customers, and I'm here to tell our listeners about a great offer today. Lyft is currently offering free ride credit to Ain't Hard to Tell listeners. If you are new to Lyft, then you are eligible, and getting your credit is easy. All you have to do is download the app and use the promo code AHTTPOD to unlock your free credit today. Ain't hard to tell who has the best car app service, so use the code today and ride out loud with Lyft. The Ain't Hard to Tell podcast is giving away a $50 Amazon gift card to one of our lucky listeners. All you have to do is enter our gift card giveaway contest. It's easy and there are 12 ways to enter, including subscribing to the Backpack Broadcasting YouTube channel or following the podcast on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. For more information, visit the giveaway link in the description info for this episode. Contest ends February 20th, 2018. Good luck, and may the luckiest listener win. The best new sports web series is here. It's from Backpack Broadcasting, and it's called The Sports Walk. The Sports Walk is a series where diverse sports fans take a walk and share their views at the intersection of sports and society. The entire first season is now available on Backpack Broadcasting's YouTube channel and backpackbroadcasting.com. See what other sports fans have to say about a variety of issues in the world of sports. Watch all 13 episodes from season 1 and take the Sports Walk today. Welcome back to the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. Dexter Henry and Brian Fonseca here with our guest, Kenny Ducey, Sports Illustrated social media writer, and can't forget, creator of #important. That's how you got to become Sports Illustrated social media writer.
And golfer.
Now
that we know.
Even though Fordham didn't put him on the team. Fordham, I'm looking in the camera
Shame
for
on
this
you.
one.
And
he's still
wear
representing for Fordham. For those who are listening to the podcast and can't see.
I should say something real emotional, like, every time I put on this sweatshirt,
I
think about that phone call. It really motivates me in the morning.
Hey, whatever it takes to motivate you in the morning. That's but you rose above it. Kenny did not give up.
I rose above it and played 1 round of golf in the last 2 years. That's how I rose above it.
But you've been busy. Man. You're probably not able to hit the course as much.
Yeah.
You rose above
got my clubs now, though.
Speaking of, I guess, of rising above, if we want to say, or rising in social media fame, if you have been not under a rock for the past year, you've known that the Ball family, by LeVar Ball, Lonzo Ball, his son LiAngelo, LaMelo. They're all popular. For some people, LeVar Ball rubs them the wrong way. Some people, like I think myself and Brian, we don't care too much about LeVar Ball. Right, Brian? Is that accurate for me to say?
Yeah, we just briefly, we don't give a damn about in terms of like most of the things that they're doing, basically.
Yeah.
But
we do acknowledge that LeVar Ball is at least interesting to some degree, and he's being creative, trying to do things that nobody's ever done. The way he's going about it, I mean, give or take, is probably questionable to say the least, but it is what it is.
So with that said, Kenny, as a social media writer who probably has had to comment, tweet out a couple stuff on
just a few
LeVar Ball, just a few.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you weren't like dying to do it. I don't know if you were, even if you were, no judgment.
We're gonna find out right now.
What do you think about the social media craze surrounding them, and how does it affect you in your job and what you do as a social media writer?
Well, first of all, because I'm a social media guy and writer, I love LeVar Ball because he is so polarizing. It is unbelievable. Like I rip highlights of like the Lithuanian games that LaMelo and LiAngelo play. And by the way,
that you never would have watched.
Did you watch that? Did you have to watch that?
Yeah, it's my job.
Okay.
Because LaMelo like missed the dunk the other day.
That got a lot of views.
That was us.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. I mean, they are you get like 50 people comment like, stop posting this. Why are you posting this? SI, I'm unfollowing, I'm unsubscribing. No, and then you get like 6,000 people retweet it and like 9,000 people like it, and you're just like, well, sometimes they do, but you're like, you're just like, well, for the amount of people that we left, like there's a lot more people that are interested.
They did the same thing with the Popovich video yesterday, where he was talking about social issues.
Right, and
they were saying that SI cares about politics.
And I think it's just you get to you're never gonna get. If you're gonna get comments, right? The majority of the comments are gonna be negative. Like if people like it, they're just gonna like it or retweet it. They're not gonna comment on it. So that's why it's like the replies are always to everything are usually always negative or bad or well actually. So no, but for that. And by the way, but while we're talking about the balls, I have to shout out Kervin Bristol, the center on their team, who was a Fordham Ram, one of the best players I ever covered at Fordham. He was the center for the Rams, I think my freshman and sophomore year, at least my freshman year, and I'm watching the game, and that missed dunk, I was like remarking to one of my colleagues, like, yo, like the Lithuanian announcers are hilarious, like they are so funny. And after he missed the dunk, one of the guys was just like, ooh. And which was great. So I was like, yo, you gotta listen to this. Like, put your headphones on, listen to the call. And I was like, I'm gonna listen to it for a third time. And at the beginning, I didn't realize it was like blocked by Bristol, and I was like, what? And I like looked it up, and he plays on their team. And he's been all around Europe, so good for him. And I was watching him yesterday. He's playing pretty well.
I would love to know what
apparently I wasn't watching too intensely.
You wasn't watching, but you saw your boy from Fordham.
Yeah. I would love to know what his life is like now.
Yeah, I was
being teammates with them.
I was gonna try to reach out to him. Like
that would be interesting for you to find out for a guy like him that maybe is just kind of
he's an international journeyman. I mean, because he's been playing overseas.
Okay.
For what?
But
like
now
5
there's like
years.
more cameras around this team than he's probably ever seen before.
Exactly. So yeah. Anyway, that was super interesting. But no, balls. They give us content, man, and like I can't argue with that.
I knew Brian was gonna laugh when you said that.
Yeah. I mean, I think LeVar. I think like if he weren't so annoying, like everyone would see him as this like rebel against the shoe companies and this genius.
Yeah.
And he is in a way a genius, but. Like, it's not a great story, but it's a pretty good story because all these shoe companies lock these kids into like 10-year deals when they're 18. And he was like, I'm not letting my sons get in there. Yeah. Like, I'm taking control. I
completely agree with you. And I think that's the one part about LeVar Ball that sometimes gets lost, right? Like, I don't like his antics per se, but I do respect what he's done with his kids and the teams even back in California and not having them tied to sneaker companies in his own brand because – for lack of a, those companies make so much money off of these kids.
Absolutely.
And for anybody who's covered AAU ball, you guys know what I'm talking about. You know how bad it is and how much money in his pocket these kids never see. They're exploited, for lack of a better term.
Absolutely. And it's just like, I think that he's jumped the shark a little bit. Like he's kind of become a little like a caricature of himself,
right?
In a way, I was really on board with him early on, and I'm kind of getting a little annoyed just in the slightest. But I mean, I still think that ultimately, like that's such an uphill battle to fight those shoe companies. You know, like
I also feel kind of the same way you feel though, because we were talking about this before. Our issue with him is not necessarily that, because we respect that, again, the ambition, everything is great, going against the machine, so to speak. Because I mean, we're independent media, so we really mess with that. But with LeVar Ball, with that whole family, it's just the way they're covered,
exactly,
and the way people like we have. I'm sure there are editors that are telling their reporters, "Hey, go cover such and such," because they're doing a pop-up shop or whatever the case may be, or they're doing some kind of event. And then the reporters are like, I mean, they don't want to necessarily go there, but they got to pay the bills, so they kind of have to go there.
Like think about to take off what Brian said, I think it's insane that ESPN has a reporter that's out there with the Ball family and as their sons play these games. It's insane to me.
Right.
Yeah.
It's insane.
That's not to slander ESPN either.
That's not slandering ESPN.
Right.
I also think that you brought up a point, Kenny, that you see these comments that probably come even at you sometimes on social media. It's probably going to be like, yo, why are you posting that? Don't put that down. It's like Kenny Ducey didn't say that he wanted to do this. Right. He's just doing a job.
Yeah.
Well, and I think sometimes people have a hard time separating.
And I just think in general, like, you know, it's in the best. I mean, honestly, like it's in the best interest of my company to do it, because I work. You know, it's a polarizing and popular issue, and people do, believe it or not, like. People do care. Like hundreds of thousands of people watch them play in Lithuania in a meaningless game against no defense, and it's like this is what people want to see.
And not even a top flight league either.
It's crazy to me because I'm a basketball junkie, and I was like, no.
It's bad basketball.
Like, no.
But I mean, it is like, you know, it is in a way is like a silent majority of people who want ball content, and they're just not really outspoken about it because. You know, for whatever reason, like they're just gonna, like I said, they're not gonna comment. They're not gonna say this is trash.
That's true.
People, you know, there are like a lot of people that'll just kind of, you know, like Twitter eggs, I guess, almost, and they're just, you know, they're consuming the content. They're not necessarily like commenting on it. You know, but they're like, I'm interested.
Look at the pop-up shop that they had in New York City not that long ago.
Yeah.
With the line of that place,
right? It
was huge, and like just the atmosphere surrounding all that. Like there is. You know, a craze for them, for lack of a better word.
I do wonder, while we're on the subject, like, LeVar still wears these, like, big baggy cargo pants. Like, I wonder.
And T-shirts.
Yeah.
I ain't letting that slide.
I love that.
It's still 2009 for that
I love that he hasn't changed his style, but I also wonder, like, is Big Baller Brand, how well are they doing? Like, I wonder. Like, a lot of people are buying their merch now because
I know that on Dan Le Batard's show, so they bought a pair of his sneakers. And they didn't get them for 7 months, and when it came, the ones that they ordered weren't in the box. It was just another pair of Big Baller Brand shoes. So I don't know.
Did you say 7 months?
Yeah, 7 months.
Now, not 7 weeks, 7 months.
Now, here's the
More than half a year. I believe I have that correct, because I remember watching the episode where they ordered them. This was in like May. And then the episode where they got them, I believe, was in December. Or it might have been April, November.
So that would go ahead. Goggles on now, and I'm going to say that this is orchestrated by the Ball family. I think they want to create the illusion that there's a lot of orders, and that's why they take so long. That was why, like, when he
that's not crazy.
But that's not good business.
No, but that's not crazy.
I think that would be good business. I think that gives the impression, especially to, you know, if they knew that they ordered the shoes, that like they could have only done this too with the Le Batard show, because I'm sure they might have known.
Maybe, I don't know. With the Le Batard show, they were trying to actively support them, which is why.
That's a good business strategy.
But here's the
my thing is like why.
Here's what I'll say to that, just about the good business strategy. I see what you're saying, and I see the thought process there. However, if your sneakers are taking longer to come, then I recently just got Apple AirPods, and at one point they were like on 6-week back order.
Okay.
I can get AirPods in 6 weeks, but it takes me 7 months to get some Big Baller Brand shoes. That ain't good, though.
Triple B's, baby.
Triple B's take longer than Apple electronic products.
And wait, but you're leaving out the fact that the ones that they got were not the ones that they ordered. That's also important.
That's bad business. No, you're right.
He's gonna get a 3-star review on Amazon, right?
3 stars.
Here's the thing: it's like
shoes, not the right
if people are putting money into your company, and you're not only taking long, but you're also not giving them the ones that they
Right.
asked for. It's like, yo, you order a black Big Baller Brand hat and you get one of them baggy T-shirts, like in exchange. Come on.
That's a different product. We're talking about,
I mean, might as well.
No, I'm saying it might as well be the same thing because with them, I don't know. Like if this is their business strategy, I don't know how they're doing business.
I think they might be struggling.
I've seen people. I've seen, but
yeah.
that's one case. I have seen people
5
like.
months, not 7.
Yeah, like at that, like at that pop-up shop, I have seen people wear their clothes. There were people with the Big Baller Brand hoodies.
I've still never seen anybody wear the clothes personally.
Not in I've only seen it on videos.
I've never seen it.
I haven't seen it in person.
I'm not laughing.
I mean, I just don't have enough money to afford that. Like, I wish I did. You know.
Oh, so you would get the Big Baller?
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I would wear a hat. I would wear a sweatshirt, a T-shirt, whatever.
All
I
right.
wanted to get. I wanted to get a hat for our NBA draft show. I was like, because I was gonna be on it, and then
That would have been great.
You gotta
I might
save
have
it.
been
You gotta
on it,
save it
yeah.
for like 2-3 years whenever LaMelo's eligible.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about Leangelo, but go ahead.
But I didn't get one though. But I was like gonna. So maybe I'll get one in the future.
There you go. And nobody take that idea.
Yeah.
Kenny Ducey at it first.
Well, no one support the Ball family. I'm not saying
No,
that.
no, no,
I advocate
we're not-
for
I'm
the
saying
balls.
nobody
I
take the
say buy a
idea.
Big Baller
Nobody
brand.
take the idea of wearing it on a draft show.
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
First.
because we don't want them to
Yeah.
take that
Support
away
them
from
if you want. I don't
Support
give
them.
it. I
Yeah.
don't care.
Well, I would never
One
tell
way or
anybody
the
not
other.
to support somebody.
Shoot, I'll get it too if the price comes down.
Yeah.
It's not gonna come down. It's only gonna go up.
No, it's only for
And-
big
and when
ballers.
if the price goes up,
And then
it's
it'll go
probably
down like Bitcoin. And it'll go up,
I'll
up.
just stay with my Prodigy hoodie. It's okay.
Then it'll take you about 10 months to get the sneakers or shoes or whatever.
Nah,
it is.
man.
See,
I
the-
know
the
ain't
one
no
thing
10
is,
months for
I
nothing.
know that's a good fashion choice, and if you could tell by my outfit, I don't know fashion at all. So that would be one thing that I could do, and I would be like, cool.
But in
for wearing
fairness, you didn't expect to be on video.
it. No, I didn't. Did not expect at all.
So if you expected to be on video, maybe you probably would have opted
Yeah.
for a different,
Honestly-
So maybe you do know fashion.
honestly, if I weren't going into the office after this, I would be wearing sweatpants right now. So I mean,
Sweatpants
Ah,
are lit.
so there you go.
I
Lucky
wear
to have
I
jeans
usually,
on.
other than today, because we have stuff to do later, I usually wear joggers on episodes of
Well,
Ain't Hard to Tell.
that was
Yeah,
bad.
nobody gets to see it really. Nobody sees our legs.
Yeah.
At least
That's
not
also
on
true.
the episode,
Except for
yeah.
that one time I got up and ran to the wall because something was very hilarious, and I don't remember what it was.
And I still don't know where he was going that time because he's just going to go to a wall. We're going to get into it. We're going to touch a little bit of this, and we'll probably have to come back at the next segment. But NBA All-Star voting.
Oh, yeah.
This, I believe, was this the first year that All-Star voting was done where you can vote on Twitter with the
Second
hashtag?
year,
It's
I
the
think.
second year,
Yeah.
right? I guess my question with that is, it seems that I've seen a lot of people do it on Twitter. It seems to be like just an easier
Because
way
it's
for people
easy.
to vote because it's easy
Right.
to do.
And they're lazy.
How do you feel like
Very lazy.
that's impacted the All-Star voting? I'm also somebody who thinks like I don't think the fans should have a vote anymore. 'cause
Well,
they-
that's the
they
thing,
mess
though.
things
Like,
up,
I don't
but,
think
yeah.
that they really don't, because if you look at I wrote recently my power rankings for the Nets because I was gonna say I respect how hard the Nets are caping
You
for
said they've been going for Dinwiddie.
Dinwiddie.
Who's
Like
gonna guess
people
on
are
the
coming
podcast.
up
They
with these
are.
crazy
Fans are
stat
telling me that all
graphics.
the
Like
time.
they're like
Yeah.
Dinwiddie because they're like, oh, like only 5 point guards in the league are averaging like this, and I was like, you know what? That's a good point. Like he's playing pretty well.
Yesterday, he kind of had 13 assists and no turnovers.
Spencer Dinwiddie's kind of good.
Kinda.
And that was someone who, again, I shouted out before I was on the podcast. And I know that he's been on the podcast.
Yeah.
He's a friend of the podcast.
Yes.
Yep.
But anyway, so that's like, I think that last year Joel Embiid had the most successful All-Star voting campaign online that you can have, and he didn't even get in because it's only like it's only like 33% of the vote.
Right.
Of your in general candidacy is determined by the online vote.
Okay.
So because of that, I honestly don't think anyone's gonna get in ever just off of Twitter. It's gonna have to be you're gonna have to be voted in by players as well.
So should that discourage fans from
No,
making these crazy
no,
campaigns?
but like
They're just gonna do it more.
right? But I'm saying like you're never gonna get Spencer Dinwiddie in the All-Star game because of what and like Embiid literally had the craziest, the most engagement that you could have.
Yes.
Like he was getting Triple H, he was getting all these people to tweet
That's right.
hashtag
I forgot
NBA
about
vote Joel Embiid, and he still didn't get in. Like he was just short, but he didn't get in.
Oh,
So
man.
I don't think anyone will ever match that amount of online votes that Embiid got last year. So for that reason, I don't think anyone will ever get voted in just based on fan reactions. You're going to have to be like a borderline Hall of Fame, or not Hall of Famer. Joel Embiid might be a borderline Hall of Famer. No, I'm kidding.
If he stays
Borderline
healthy.
All-Star, and then you got to get pushed in by the fan vote. I think that's how
No,
you do it.
that makes sense to me. Is there anybody? Because is there anybody who was borderline this year? We're recording today. We're actually going to find out the voting tonight, right? Today we're going to
Is
find
it?
out. Today is it next week?
That's news to me.
When I'm not working, I don't know.
Sometimes I check out.
Believe it or not.
No, I get it. I'm the same way.
I don't know.
That's why I don't at the time of recording this podcast. But whatever, we'll find out soon.
That has to sidebar. That has to suck for the people that have to count those votes.
Well, I
think
they have some auto-populated.
They have because they partnered with Twitter, so I think Twitter helps.
They better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it suck for like Giannis, whose last name I'm not gonna try to pronounce.
Antetokounmpo.
No, I could do it. I just don't want to.
Anyway, but yeah,
I need more water to get.
Do you? Was there anybody that had a campaign? Because you talked about a good one before we go to break. And you talked about Embiid last year. But was there any campaign that was like, yo, that's whack? Like, what are they doing here? This campaign is not good. Because teams had their own campaigns.
Do you have a campaign in like? You sound like you did.
You know what? You know what? I don't know if I really said I disliked it. I just like Brian. Look at Brian. He's all excited. He's here for it.
I like getting mixy.
I can't remember what the Knicks were doing for Porzingis.
You
thought it was corny?
The pun was bad.
Was it unicorn
like
emojis?
Real
Was
bad.
it unicorn emojis?
No, it was unicorn.
So with Nick. Now I love
Jeff, defend it.
I love Porzingis'
We have Knick fans in here. Defend it.
But I did not like that. I didn't like it. Unicorn. Those are a little corny. I booed when I was like, boo.
It was a little unicorn.
You still voted for Porzingis, though.
Well, since they're being corny, why can't we?
I definitely. You still voted for Porzingis, though, right?
What do you think?
Yeah, you had to.
Yeah, I mean, but that points out to Kenny's point that. Not saying that it doesn't matter at all the impact of the campaign,
but it won't deter you from just voting.
But I think Porzingis deserves to be an all-star this season. I don't think he'll be a starter, but I think he deserves to be an all-star this season.
I just think in general because of the Embiid thing, I think that you might. I mean, it depends what you want, but you might want to rethink, the amount of weight you give to the fan vote, though, because like I said, no good campaign is going to get a player in now.
So you're saying give them more, give the fan vote more.
I mean, unless you think that you're like an all-star game purist and you'd like the coaches and players to determine it because that's...
See, I didn't know that they had that little...
Yeah, they just changed it last year.
Yeah, they just did change it last year.
Yeah, so
Which I'm fine with, actually.
And honestly, I mean, the player vote is imperfect, too. I mean, you get players voting for their best friends and also voting for their brother. All the Plumlees voted for each other. It's just that happens,
It's a waste. Come on.
It's like Miles Plumlee got one vote, and it was from... Or Marshall Plumlee got one vote last year. It was from Miles Plumlee.
I feel like...
Plumlee got 3, and one of them was from Miles.
Didn't we see Marshall Plumlee at Pro City 2 summers ago?
We did.
That's another note. But anyway, I don't know. I didn't know that they had that little to do with the voting. So... Yeah.
You might want to rethink it. That's all. I mean...
Maybe. But I feel like any way you get it, it's going to be imperfect anyway, whether it's player dominant, coach dominant, fan dominant. Maybe you want to do 33% of each. Maybe. That seems like the most fair way, but any way you do it is going to be imperfect. But I do like that the fans get to vote. I just don't think that they should vote entirely who gets to be in outright, which apparently they don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They can push someone in, but they're not gonna vote someone in.
Ask me after the turnout this year, and then I'll probably have an answer. Because I do want to see how it shakes out this year. Because if I see somebody get in where I'm like, bro, are you kidding me? If I see Marshall Plumlee in the All-Star game, then I'm gonna be like, yo.
If you ever see Marshall Plumlee in the NBA, because he's not in the All-Star game. He's not in the NBA right now.
He's not. No, that wasn't crazy to say. Before we go, were there any bad campaigns?
No, I didn't.
Besides, you kind of didn't care for the pun and the
I agree with you on that one, but I didn't really see many All-Star game campaigns this year in general. I mean, there were a lot of teams that would just tweet out stats, tweet out a play,
tweet out all the time.
Yeah, that's what
Kawhi Leonard gets a lot of that from the Spurs account.
Right. Like Brad Beal got a lot of that from the Wizards, but it's it's not. It's right. There were no good campaigns like there were last year with Embiid, I don't think, and it's
gonna be hard to top.
That's true.
Yeah, I didn't see any.
The Dinwiddie one is the one that I've seen the most of.
Well, that was
probably just covering the Nets, but also fans just decided to get behind them.
That was an underground campaign. Fans were this group of fans came together, and you know what I mean. Yeah. It wasn't generated by a team.
Yeah.
And I like that. I do like that though.
Yeah.
I do like that though. All right, we're gonna take our last break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about fantasy baseball, and we have a bunch of just purely random things to talk about, we like to do in the last segment. It might not even be sports related. We'll talk about that when we come back on the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast.
Sports Guru is the place where fans talk about sports via video. All videos are 60 seconds or shorter. Sports Guru makes the video look more professional and fun by adding automated on-screen graphics. You can follow your favorite sports by team, trending, new, or by people you follow, and more. Type in the title of your video and it will auto-magically, that's right, auto-magically go into your on-screen graphics. It's just that simple. Tag your teams and publish sports. Let's talk sports.
It ain't hard to tell where to get the latest merchandise from Backpack Broadcasting. Gear is now available via TeePublic. Visit the Backpack Broadcasting TeePublic online store to get shirts, hoodies, mugs, and phone cases. Represent your favorite Backpack Broadcasting shows, including the Sports Walk, Sideline Stories, and of course, the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. Check out the special offers for our podcast listeners at http://t.pub/lic/backpack. Get in the game with your official Backpack Broadcasting gear today. Welcome back to the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. Dexter Henry and Brian Fonseca here.
We were clearly not ready to come back.
No, we're laughing at a bunch of stuff.
And sweating.
With our guest, Kenny Ducey, Sports Illustrated social media writer. We're talking about a lot of stuff around social media and sports. You play fantasy sports, dude.
A lot, yeah.
A lot, okay.
So the question that goes around, what your favorite fantasy sports play, is it fantasy baseball?
I think so.
See, yeah. I stopped playing fantasy baseball. I haven't played fantasy baseball.
You played fantasy baseball.
I used to.
This is news to me.
Yeah, I used to play fantasy baseball.
How the... You know what?
Baseball is great.
Okay, you're gonna have to.
I was in a league.
School me.
I was in a league with a bunch of my friends from college, so I played for a bunch of years. I probably haven't played fantasy baseball in at least 5 or 6 years, because of the question I'm asked, especially with you, because you're in media like us. How do you have time? To play fantasy baseball?
That's what I want to know.
I just got, I got older. I have a daughter. I don't have time to set my lineups. I'm like, nah. So I just was like, fantasy baseball, I'm done with it.
So I think it reminds me of, like, it's kind of nostalgic because at least when I was in college and when I was in high school, and I've been playing fantasy sports since I was like 7. So
that's crazy.
That's legit. Like, since I was 7, I used to play with, like, it would be like me, my dad's coworker, and then I would have a second team. Like, it was just like I've been playing for a while.
I hope you were schooling them.
I mean, of course, I had 2 teams. That's to make one team really good.
I'd be pissed if my 7-year-old son's schooling me in fantasy anything.
I would never let my 7-year-old son have 2 teams. I would get someone else in the league,
Nope.
Anyway, so I would just wake up summer mornings, just first thing, wake up, set my lineup, and so that's kind of what I do now. I love baseball so much. I cover a lot of baseball games. I'm in the Baseball Writers Association of America. I write about baseball. I watch baseball.
Congrats to that.
Thanks. And it hasn't gotten old for me yet, like baseball. So I still love it, and I love. It's a great way to follow it. I think I watch like a lot of baseball because I play fantasy baseball. I felt the same way last year. I played DFS NBA like almost every night.
Oh yeah.
And so when you do that, you watch like every game, and you have a strong grip on what's happening. I haven't played as much this year, so I haven't watched as much basketball. But so anyway, I just enjoy it. I think I love the long run. Like, I love kind of like you draft guys, the pickups. Like there's so many ebbs and flows of the season, and I don't know how I have time for it really, but
that's what I want to get.
I'll set aside again every day. It's kind of easy to set your lineup, right? Because you're just like making a couple subs. There's 2 starters in there, and then like my off days, like Thursdays or Fridays, like sometimes I'll go to the coffee shop and then like I'll take like 20-30 minutes. And I'll just kind of like do some reading. I'll do some research. I'll figure out who's coming up from the minors. I'll try to see if there's a good trade candidate out there. It's fun. You don't have to put that much time aside for
Go ahead, Brian.
I'm just wondering because I would be pissed if it's like 5 o'clock and then I find out that Andrew McCutch is not on the lineup, but I'm tied up and I can't do anything for the next few hours.
That's why you have your phone, man.
You know what I mean?
You got alerts now.
What if I can't get to my phone? You know what I mean? I had trouble,
but that's the great thing
I
about
I never tried fantasy baseball. I had trouble keeping up with fantasy basketball, which obviously isn't as extensive. And then I want to say 3 years ago, I couldn't even keep up with fantasy football, so I was like, all right, I'm done.
So here's the thing. So in
Football, which is once a week.
In a way,
That's sad.
Well, that is sad. That's what I was gonna say. Is the beauty?
What
the
are you,
beautiful
45
thing,
now?
The beautiful thing about baseball.
You see how you just took a shot of
Sad is his, you know what I'm saying?
Anyway, whatever.
I mean, I was gonna let you handle that, but
yeah, he backed up real quick.
No, I just figured we move
Darkstar.
on because he knows I have no interest in that. But
okay.
Come save me,
go ahead, Kenny. Defend how you can actually make adjustments.
I'm not coming at
First,
him either.
I
have legitimate questions. Cause
First of all, yeah. So that's the beauty of fantasy baseball.
And I'm also not as invested in baseball as you are.
Right. Well, that's the big difference, I think. And
yeah.
So the nice thing about it is that you don't always like if you miss a guy, for example, if you have McCutcheon in and you have someone on your bench that could have played, and he's not playing, it's not the end of the world because you have 7 days, you have guys playing almost every day. And it's such a long season that in the grand scheme of things, a few days where you miss a substitute is not going to affect you. The other thing is that the lineups are usually posted around 4 for a 7 p.m. game, like 4:30. So you have like 2.5 hours to change your lineup. So at some point you can, and like I said, and you get alerts too. So at some point, like I'll find the time to just like boom, like if I need to make a sub. But I think that happens a lot more in football and basketball that guys don't play due to injury. Guys usually get scheduled off days in baseball, but like, I don't know. I feel like basketball is so sudden because they'll announce it at like 6 and the game's at 7.
Oh, like
baseball,
Popovich.
and sometimes you'll even know. Sometimes you'll even know the day before that a guy's gonna sit the next day. So I don't know, but I think that it's not as much maintenance as people think.
You know what? That's true. Now I'm thinking about this. Maybe I'll revisit playing some fantasy baseball because I haven't played in years, and I'd like to get back into it at some point.
I'm not.
I can try. You're not coming back.
No.
And I think
I never tried fantasy baseball.
I think Katie makes a good point about football and basketball, and where it gets stressful, if you want to use that word, to change the lineup because it's so sudden. You literally sometimes an hour before the game. Yeah. Especially in football. If that's ever happened to you in football.
Oh, you have to watch Countdown.
Right? Yeah.
You have to watch Countdown. Wait for not really. Or NFL Network. But you basically have to go on Twitter and like just what's Adam Schefter like.
But and like that's what people assume that football is less time consuming, but in a way it almost is more time consuming because like you have
stressful. Definitely.
You have Thursday. You have to make sure you have to get your waiver claims in Tuesday to Wednesday. Thursday you have to set your lineup. For
that's
the
a good point.
Game. And then Sunday you got to spend like an hour on your lineup. Like you have to figure out who's not playing. Remember those actives and inactives come out like noon, 12:30, and then you have to figure out, well, is this guy now? This guy's not playing. Who do I play? Do I play Marquise Lee? Do I play Marquise Goodwin? Like which Marquise do I play? And
two wide receivers named Marquise.
Which
Nice.
do I play?
And you don't know, like you don't know. So that is a high stress thing, and I love baseball because it's reflective of the sport where it's a little more relaxed. Got a little more time.
Sidebar, go Jacksonville Jaguars. I hope you beat the hell out of New England this weekend, even though I don't really care about football that much.
I'm a big Bortles guy, so go Bortles.
You're
been a Blake Bortles guy? That person exists?
Emperor.
Yeah, man.
You know what's funny? Our other guest that was on the podcast, who's also from Connecticut, who was the second Jaguars fan I ever met in my life.
I'm not a Jaguars.
I know that.
Yeah.
But you're a Blake Bortles fan, which is weird.
Well, so when he first was at UCF and then he came into the league, like he was a fun Twitter guy. Like people would get excited about him, like in the preseason, like he was.
But now
the Blake Bortles facts Twitter account is
that
very
happened.
Fun
like there was a lot of buzz around Blake Bortles. People thought he was cool,
I don't remember him being.
Maybe
a fun Twitter guy.
it's like me being out of touch. I don't know. But so I always was like,
you're a social media guy. You can't be out of touch.
Yeah. Well, I'm not.
Otherwise,
not totally out of touch.
Not totally out of touch.
But NFL-wise, with people like it, Blake Bortles. I kind of realized at the beginning of the year that people were like, "Wow, this guy sucks," and he wasn't that good, Like.
But then he had a stretch where he was killing.
I never thought he was
Chris
good.
Sims has him as his 70th best quarterback.
Which is ridiculous. Anytime.
And Chad Henne's like 49. Chad
people
Henne
do
was
that.
His backup, which I find hilarious.
People do that for a reaction, but
agreed.
I just I figured that I didn't actually hate I didn't actually think that he was good. Or think that people were wrong for thinking that he was bad.
Okay.
I just liked him. I was like, he's very sporadic. He runs around.
very.
He throws bombs, and sometimes he has a great game. Sometimes he doesn't. You know
So
what I mean?
you're hoping he
Wait, do you think he was unfairly treated early on in his career?
Like he said, like that LeBron. And,
Like people
whole
think he
comment.
sucks, but maybe you think he hasn't gotten a fair chance type of thing.
No, he got a
or-
fair chance. He
Okay.
was just. I thought
I'm
he
just-
was.
I'm just trying
I've
to
always
get to
thought
the
he was
root of
fun to watch because he's so inconsistent. Like he'll have a terrible game, but then he'll have a great game. And he's really talented, and you like hope that guys who are that talented like put it all together. You know.
You
what I
hope
mean?
so, but you don't know
Like-
if they can. So that's the
Like I
intrigue.
felt the same way about Teddy Bridgewater, except he actually ended up being like consistent. Like, but coming out of Louisville, he was so exciting. Like he would like
Yeah.
make these ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
I kind of had a similar thing with Geno Smith in the
Oh,
draft
Lord.
class before.
Oh, I
who
always
was
thought
very fun in West
But
Virginia.
now that's a guy who I never thought got a fair shake. But that's
I agree with that too.
You have somebody who
You want to
agrees
go
with
into this
you.
rabbit hole right now?
No,
You want to go into this rabbit hole right
Smith
now?
gang.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
We have been down this
Hell
before.
yeah.
He definitely feels that. And people know watch and listen to podcasts know that. See, he's serious about it.
I would
When he takes the mic off, he's serious.
I'm cool.
Gino, man, like
By the
he
way,
was gonna
I'm
be the starter. He got punched in the mouth. Ryan Fitzpatrick filled in. He came in for that one game in Oakland against the Raiders.
Actually-
over 300 yards. He killed it.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was the Amber podcast that I brought all this up. How IKN and Polly punched him in the face,
Yes,
and he
that
was
was it,
he was
Pop.
a hot
ruined his career, man.
He was a hothead in college. Like you gotta blame IK for that because he was the one he was tasered and things like that. And
All right, well,
Louisiana Tech,
I think
whatever.
the two of you need to
I'm also a
start-
big Marquise Lee fan. Sidebar.
You need to start
I do like
a
Marquise
social
Lee.
media movement, since that's what you do.
I've been doing this for a
about
while.
free Geno Smith. Let him start.
I've never tweeted, just like Blake Bortles. You can check my history. I've never
Yes.
tweeted a bad tweet about Blake Bortles.
You never tweeted
never
bad about
tweeted
Geno
a
Smith?
bad tweet about Geno Smith. Love Geno Smith.
Same.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about since this past year has been a lot of social activism. We saw things with Colin Kaepernick. Actually, last time I ran into you was
I
at
saw you.
the Colin Kaepernick Stand with Cap rally in Manhattan. We ran into each other there. How do you feel social media has impacted movements like that, or just giving athletes a bigger platform to have a voice and speak out against social issues?
I mean, I think in general in the last year it's been so powerful, and we saw what it created when we went to that rally.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think almost sometimes though, like we live in social media so much that we, like over what we've seen, like there's a bubble of social media, the social media bubble. And so it's all about like trying to spread out and try to spread that out to people. And but in a way though, like because of all that stuff that happened online, like Kaepernick has become more than he's become so much larger than a football player. He's like a public figure. He's like, on more than I think he ever imagined he would be. And I think that's all due to the people like gathering together and pumping him up and pushing his message out, and the way that he's been able to show other people who think that he's not doing anything what he's been doing. He's puts together all these Instagram videos like once a week. And it's like I gave this amount. Like I saw him. He gave $900,000 somewhere. He gives so much money away that he raises. Like the other day, And it's like if you just look at his Instagram, you point there, like that's all the good that he's doing for the community, and it's great to see.
Right.
Yeah,
It's about it.
It's good. That's
Yeah,
very
and
well
I don't know his current financial situation, but I would assume that like he's good in terms. He's probably good, and he doesn't need to play football ever again.
I've heard he saved his money pretty well.
He doesn't need to play football ever again to be an important figure to maintain his status, so to speak.
And the amount of different the amount of the Know Your Rights campaign, the amount of different campaigns that he's raised money with, it's insane. The amount of these done, and so that's why it's funny when people say, "Oh, this guy's never done anything." That's why you just go look at Instagram,
And you're like, yo, here are the facts.
Yeah.
Check right here.
Yeah.
One of the other things I found interested in social media in the last couple of years that I enjoy, you see, especially the NBA, and you do a lot with the NBA, but all the jerseys that come out. You see, the NBA has 1 million jerseys now, probably too many. But
everybody's Oregon.
and you saw the City Edition jerseys came out, and people's reactions to them on social media. I think it's hilarious. I find it just I love it.
So remind me because I don't know, I don't care about the names.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't I'm not gonna buy into that whole
Hold on. We have
promo.
laptops.
We have
Right.
this special.
We have laptops.
Right. So
Okay.
so here's an example. But this is.
But I think this is what I was talking about though with the Is this the Sixers jersey?
The Sixers have their City Edition jersey.
This is
the
an
one
example
that's on,
of
the
one of them.
parchment
Okay, no,
paper.
I've seen these. Yeah.
Matt, you're a Utah fan.
Then we have Matt Finizza, our executive producer. He showed me this. Actually, this was not on social media, but he showed we were out to eat at WoHop, and people have seen it behind the pod. He showed me the Utah Jazz City Edition jersey.
That's the one we're looking at.
That's ugly.
It looks like a sunset.
It looks like a sunset. It's
See,
nothing to do with Jazz. Did you even see that one?
He's showing it to me now.
Okay.
I really like
Nothing to
it.
do with
You
Jazz.
like it?
I don't
Really?
care that it has nothing to do with Jazz. I like it. I like the jersey. I'd wear it.
But you know what it looks like?
You would wear it? I'll buy it.
It looks
You
like
need to wear that with a big ball.
I'll buy it. Donovan. I mean, it matches. You got the Donovan Mitchell
one?
Utah jersey.
It looks
with the
like a
red,
summer
orange.
tank top
You got
from
the,
American
You got the
Eagles.
yellow Big Baller brand hat. Ooh.
We got him too excited about
Yeah.
it. Matt
I don't
shaking
know.
his head. He's like, no.
Well, I already told you I know nothing about fashion, so that was.
I thought this one-
Now that confirms it for me.
That's
I'm like,
Cleveland
no.
one.
No, but
They had
so
that one.
This is the one with the script like filler.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
like one of my
yeah.
favorite
Yeah,
ones.
why is no one? I put this in my power rank.
This one.
Why is no one talking about the fact that they just
ripped-
copied
you put
the
that.
Christmas jerseys?
I saw that.
These are just the Christmas jerseys, and they just Sixers
Yo,
in script like
I'm
2015, I believe. Was the? I mean, like what the hell?
I
Yeah.
read this the other night, and I'm reading. I'm
No one's
going
calling
through,
him out.
and you get to Philly, where I think you had him at 18 or whatever in the rank, and I read
Probably
that.
20.
And you had that comment, and I was like, yo, Kenny's right. I was like, he's right. They ripped off the jersey.
Yeah,
They
and no
kept
one's talking about
I was like,
it.
Nobody said it. Now, I do like the color in the back. It's supposed to be like the parchment paper. I
Looks
like what they
great.
did
It was
there.
one of my favorite Christmas jerseys.
Yeah, and I think it's very clean looking, but they really did the same thing. What I'll ask you, and I know we're about to get out of here soon. With people's reactions to this on social media, like, I don't like the Jazz jersey, but you do.
Usually, stuff that's loud like that, people don't like. Yeah.
Right. But they're saying with these City Edition jerseys, they're going to change them every year. How much of an impact do you think, like, the fans' feedback is going to have in what the creators will create for the next year? So people like me and Matt are like, yo, we don't like this. But people like you are like, yo, we really mess with this jersey. Do you think that's going to have – do you think social media has an influence in the creators and what the NBA does with that?
I think Nike and the NBA see what people are saying about the jerseys. I mean, probably more so, though, like, just in the whole, like, collection of press. Like, I'm sure there's a bunch of blogs saying these are good or bad.
Oh,
I think they know, and I think
They have sites that rank them.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
And I think, like,
Not as good as your power rankings, but
well, thank you.
There you go.
Sales-wise, I think the, like, unfortunate part is I think people are still gonna buy them no matter, like, how they look. Like, I mean, people bought those Christmas jerseys from, like, I don't know, like, what was it, 2012, 2013?
The ones with the sleeves with the single logo on it?
No, actually, those were okay.
You thought those were okay?
The all-color ones, like back when, like, Meta World Peace
the
played for
all-colored
the
ones. Yes,
Knicks.
I remember that. Yes.
They had, like, it was just like, remember the Knicks? It was all orange, and it was
Awful.
like, what?
Wait, but they got a great commercial out of that one, didn't they? Wasn't that the one where they shot? Yeah, the Jingle Bells.
That was a good
yeah.
commercial.
That was a
That was
great
my favorite
commercial.
That was.
The
That
jerseys
was
were
good.
awful. That
But
was
yeah,
a great
those were
commercial,
terrible
though.
jerseys, and they still managed to. People still bought those. So
Yeah.
I
mean-
think in general, people are still going to buy the City jerseys.
And
It's
people
just a
are
way
hype
for them
beasts.
to make more money.
It is. I agree.
And so in that way, maybe they won't change it. Maybe they don't care because people are just going to buy them anyway. I mean, I might not. So.
I'm fine with I'm fine with you getting the Utah Jazz jersey.
Thank you.
As long as you also promise to wear an Ain't Hard to Tell T-shirt on top of it.
Am I going to go?
To cover the Jazz
We'll
jersey.
get you one to cover the Jazz because that's better. That's more.
Oh, we have the store.
Trendy, right, Matt? You agree with me on that?
Now,
There we go.
where am I not allowed? Like, I can't wear it to the gym, right? It's got to be like a fashion statement.
The Ain't
right?
Hard to Tell shirt?
Yeah.
No, you can't wait to gym. You're not gonna sweat that up. You gotta wear it out.
I wanted to
Yeah.
make sure,
Nah,
I mean, unless
I respect you for asking though.
Yeah, I have to. I mean, because I wear most of my T-shirts to the gym, so I wanted,
That one- that
if
one's
you order,
special.
you
Yeah,
could
it's
order a tank top or a lightweight hoodie and perhaps work out in that if you want to.
We could. Yeah,
Okay.
we
That's
will.
also
We'll allow
possible.
you to do that.
Yeah, well, that's also the place that, like, most people see me. That's the other thing. I was thinking.
There you go.
But I don't really wear T-shirts out in public that much.
But where you can see Kenny, you can't see him online. I think it's a good transition.
What a segue.
That was a segue.
Yeah.
Where you can see him, you can follow him at Kenny Ducey. Kenny Ducey, our guest, Sports Illustrated social media writer. We want to thank you for coming on, man. It was good. I had a good time.
This was really fun. This was a great way to spend my Thursday afternoon. Really
There you
appreciate
go.
it. Was I not
There you
supposed to
go.
say what day we were taping?
No, it's fine.
All right, good.
You
I
can
thought
say.
that's what you were about
People will
to
go back
No,
and
we don't.
people will
No.
go back and say, "Oh, Kenny's Thursday afternoons are pretty usually
With-
chill."
The
Yeah.
phrase
Dexter and Brian.
the phrase independent
And all these
media.
wonderful people.
The phrase independent media, keyword being independent, meaning we don't have to tell nobody anything.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. People
Yeah.
say it's Thursday afternoon.
By the way-
now they might check for you someplace else on a Thursday afternoon or want to know what you're doing. But just don't tell those people that.
By the way,
be
back
in-
to those city jerseys real quick. This New Orleans one is awful. The one with
See,
the number like on top. You
I
like
like that
one?
too.
You
I like
that one.
I
I'm
like
not in
crazy
love
stuff.
with it, but I
I
don't-
like the
If you're watching or listening, Google the New Orleans one.
I don't think
and
it's
these are the
bad.
two ones that people are saying
I
are
just
bad.
the number. You know what it is though. You know what it is. I played against them in 2K, and the number just looking at it kept pissing me off.
Oh no, that does. I didn't realize. I thought that was 2. That's 2-3.
Yeah, watching Anthony Davis run around and there's a 2 and then a lower 3, like that's
all right.
annoying.
No,
That's pretty
I'm
bad.
out on that. I'm in for the purple.
If the numbers were,
I do like the
no, I
purple,
like the
and I like the
purple.
Mardi
If
Gras
the numbers
yeah.
were level
Right,
like
love
this
it.
Utah one, yo.
No, I'm out on that though. But in general, I like when they try crazy stuff because
I like the Mardi Gras.
Look at the
jerseys.
Thunder, like all the Thunder jerseys. I don't know. I know that's not the city edition
It's still
jersey,
better than most of the
but
Thunder
like
jerseys.
exactly, like the Thunder
I
and the
agree with that.
Clippers just gave up trying on their.
Oh,
jerseys,
they
you know?
look like
I
they
think
made,
is
yeah,
this
they-
their
they-
city jersey one? No,
I
that
mean,
can't be.
No, that's their.
That can't
That's
be.
their. So I don't remember the icon. I believe.
I respect the people that try. You know what I mean? Like or the teams or the. I guess the teams aren't trying, but just in general, the try for the new look. You know, like the Jazz, like make yellow and orange and red a color for the Jazz. Why not? You know.
Well, what we need is to get a picture with you and also Matt Finese wearing it, our executive producer. I don't think that'll happen because I don't think Matt will put it on. But
No,
we'll try.
he's gonna get the green Donovan Mitchell jersey.
See, he's
And he's
nodding.
nodding
You
his
get
head.
Mitchell, I'll get Joe Ingles. I'll do that.
Joe Ingles is like one of my favorite NBA role players. So
Joe Ingles is
I'm all for
nuts.
That's how you know Dexter's an
great.
NBA nut when he has Joe Ingles as one of his favorite NBA role
That. Absolutely,
players.
he's tremendous.
And I'm not
The
even
guy
getting on you
passes,
for that.
He's super efficient.
Yeah.
I could go into that for days. But
You want him to be a Knick.
I mean-
That's the core of that. You
I mean,
want him
no,
to be a
I wasn't even saying that. I mean, I would take it.
Yeah,
He's playing better than Lance
I
Thomas
mean,
right
no,
now.
you're not going to get a better role player right now in the NBA than Ray Felton, though.
Now,
Hey.
before we go, let me say
I
something.
lead the Ray
He was an
Felton
all.
thing.
He should have been an
Everybody
all-star that
knows-
1 year.
One
He
year,
should have
Ray
been
Felton
all-star that
should've been
1 year.
all-star.
No.
And then I couldn't wait to drive Ray Felton to the airport when he came back for his second
Dude.
stint with the Knicks. He's become a good role
Dribbling
player.
float.
I'll take him on this
Back
podcast
rim
though.
every time on the floater.
I'll take him on this podcast though. I want to ask him about getting traded and how.
I'd
that-
love to talk to Ray Felton.
I would love to sit down with Raymond Felton for an hour and just buy him coffee.
If we get Ray Felton on the podcast, we have to have it on a Thursday afternoon so you can come back.
I would love it.
There you go.
I've had a very up and down relationship with Ray Felton. You know, on just me in general as a fan of Ray Felton. You know.
Oh, I thought you meant personally.
No, I don't know the guy. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he probably blocked me on Twitter for what I said about him 4 years ago.
Dexter
when he was on the
McDougal
Knicks.
blocked me on Twitter.
What?
Random fact.
Wow.
We can
Wait,
get into that
like
later.
Yeah,
The
he's
Jet?
blocking
The
me.
Jet?
Yeah,
The guy
exactly.
who got drafted by the Jets?
Exactly. We can't even say who he is.
Wait, the guy who got drafted by the Jets, Jackson
Yeah.
McDougal?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like really excited for him.
But, you know,
I
just-
was not, which is
you
why
know,
he blocked me on
maybe
Twitter.
maybe
I
I
thought he
should
was gonna be good, and then he got cut.
Maybe I
He got
should
hurt.
I didn't even. All I said was that he was injury prone. He just found my name and blocked me.
Maybe I should support. Maybe I should just do it.
Which is true. He got hurt right after I said
He
that.
should, but I should support another Dexter. Maybe I should block Brian on Twitter.
The
How about
only-
that?
I only-
Dexters have to stick together.
I've only blocked like 2 people
Oh, I just got
on
that.
Twitter. One person I blocked was PZ Feed like 6 years ago.
I don't know who that
And the
is.
other person I
don't either.
blocked
Yes.
5 or 6 years ago, who I thought was a terrible human being, and I came out to be true, is Matt Lauer.
Oh.
I blocked Matt Lauer on Twitter like
Let me
5 or
find
6
out you're a
what
psychic.
caused- I'm sorry, but I know we're a little over our time here. What caused you to
go
block Matt Lauer? I'm sure there's a lot of women.
I've heard
that
a
want
lot
to
of
block
things.
Matt Lauer,
I
too.
just heard he wasn't a good person. I heard he forced people out of that job. Like he was just he was selfish, and I just never liked him. I was like, this guy's he's fake and he's like people who I think are not good or just like could be better, and then people love them. That makes it even more of a.
I get that.
Kind of like a,
I get
So
that.
I was like, I was
so-
like, for years, I was like, people are so wrong about Matt Lauer. Why do they like him? And then now I know.
So,
why.
so you're
when
telling
he
me
got
I
fired,
should
he's like,
block
I was
the?
right.
So you're telling me I should block the president?
Yeah.
Okay.
Block.
Gotcha.
That's how you make a statement, and then one day, hopefully, you'll have like that one like 80,000 retweet tweet, and that person will be like, wait, why can't I see this tweet that this and then I'm blocked by this random guy.
By the time that happens, I don't know. He'll probably be dead. So
I mean,
Probably.
yeah.
Let's have some hope. I think you'll get one soon.
Oh, hoping for
probably.
impeachment.
I mean, I've had a few, so we'll see. Hopefully, he
Well,
won't
one
be
of
in
the
office.
one or the other.
Hopefully, he won't be in office by that time. But let's
Well, we
get outta
thank
here.
you for sharing that. That was good. We just learned a bunch of. You see, this is why the last part of the show is always random as hell. That's what we do. Just talk about random stuff.
Open segment, as
Open
we say in the
segment.
biz.
Yeah, open segment.
Or anything goes, as we call it.
But unfortunately, we have to let you get back to the rest of your Thursday afternoon and enjoy the rest of it. Kenny, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me. This is really fun.
We hope to
Absolutely.
have you on again, man. We hope to have
Yeah.
you. We'll be able to talk about some other stuff when it goes on.
I live in
social media.
Brooklyn. We could do it.
Yeah, you're right here in Brooklyn. So we like that. And representing Connecticut, we had another Connecticut guest, so that's always
An
good.
eighth of your guests so far from Connecticut.
That's true.
Yeah.
There we go. An
Well,
eighth.
math.
Well, actually,
Let's
a
get
little less because not all of our episodes have had guests.
Oh, that's true. Oh, advanced analytics on the podcast.
I was a B- math student, so.
I thought you that was like a C.
Yeah, we went up at the end.
I'm actually impressed. Anyway,
don't ask me about my GPA though. Not the core not the core GPA.
We won't get into
the major GPA was solid though.
We want to thank Kenny Ducey once again, our guest, for joining us on episode 16 of the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. We'll have more. We have some other special guests coming up. Once again, thanks to Kenny. For Brian and Kenny, Dexter Henry signing off from the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast.
Yo, I remember this one thing about Raymond Felton where Colin Cowherd tweeted out, "You want to know the state of the Knicks right now? Ian Begley is waiting for Raymond Felton at the courthouse." That was the morning he had a gun charge.